Hello, I am SJ and this is Infinite Fire Reading, so thank you so much for being here. I wanted to talk to you today about acknowledging your previous affirmations. Acknowledging your previous manifestations as a means of utilizing that to enhance your own success. So we'll jump on into that. A little bit of reading I'm going to be doing today is again from Mind Power by John Kaho. And it's the chapter Acknowledging. So I found this quite interesting and useful. It's a little bit of a longer read, but I think it is of benefit because so often we create things and we think it doesn't work for us when all you have to do is look back on your life and look where you have created a series of things that you wanted and or didn't want to see that it's definitely working for you. So let's have a look at that. And obviously using your successes to your advantage. So we'll jump straight on in. Pardon me. Okay, so it starts with a quote, "Nothing succeeds like success." Most of us are quicker to see our own failures and shortcomings than we are to acknowledge our achievements and successes. When we accomplish something, we feel good about it for a few days or weeks, but then we move on to new goals and new desires. All too quickly, we leave behind the good feelings of accomplishment. We forget that we have even achieved those things. Our new desires and wants become our focus, and we let go of the success vibration that was created from our past achievements. This is a complete waste of powerful success energy. If we focus only on the not yet attained, we unconsciously feed the mind the idea that we are lacking. This is why it's important to acknowledge the good that you have, that you've already created, because it keeps you in your power. That simple, right? So we can reuse success energies from past achievements again and again with very positive results, but unfortunately we rarely do so, which is a belief system in itself. You know, let's affirm that we do start doing that. And that's exactly what we're here to do. So one night after one of my lectures, and this is an example, a woman approached me and asked, "John, do you think I could ever achieve my goals?" I asked her to describe them. Her first goal was to live in a beautiful house. Her second goal was to fly back to England to see parents and relatives she hadn't seen in 14 years. And her third goal was to have a meaningful relationship with someone special. As she was a single mother with 3 children and lived on very slender means, these goals seemed impossible to her at the time. From my seminars, however, she hoped to learn powerful new ways to create a better reality. I assured her that by using mind powers, she could indeed achieve her goals, and didn't really think of the woman again until about a year later when I received a phone call from her. "John," she said excitedly, "you'll never guess what happened. I now live in a new house with a swimming pool and a fabulous yard and view." I told her I was very happy for her, but she wasn't finished. "Not only that, but I was in England for 3 weeks and saw my family, and you could tell she was leaving the best for last. I'm in the most fabulous relationship. I'm in love, really in love." Needless to say, I looked forward to seeing her again. Months passed before I did, but she met me at the airport, and the first thing I noticed about her was that she didn't appear to be the bright, exuberant woman I was expecting to see. When she said to me, rather despondently, "John, why doesn't mind power work for me?" I could only look at her incredulously. "Why doesn't mind power work for me?" she repeated. I couldn't believe I was hearing this. I said, "Listen, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you the woman who 1 year ago wanted to live in a nice house, travel to England, and have a meaningful relationship? Wasn't that you?" She looked at me in embarrassment. "Oh," she said, "I forgot about that." Forgot about that? How could anyone forget about it? Yeah, so it's just an example of, I'll read on a little bit more as well though. It's an example of how our achievements, we are achieving all the time, and it's good to acknowledge what we have achieved because it is showing ourselves our own success. So I'll continue to read though. So how could anyone forget about it? Well, it's easy. We do it all the time. She had achieved her previous goals and now was working on new and different ones. Because she hadn't yet realized her new goals, she was sincerely wondering why mind power wasn't working for her. She had totally forgotten and taken for granted her most recent achievements. Her mind had moved on to new things. We focus on what we want to achieve, totally forgetting to acknowledge what we have achieved. Why concern yourself with what you're not? We all have areas where we've failed, where we feel we don't measure up. Learn to pat yourself on the back for your present or past victories, no matter how small. Look for anything that makes you feel strong, victorious, successful, and good about yourself. Acknowledge anything and everything, small and large, and use it to create a vibration of success and achievement in the now, which will aid you in attracting further success. Acknowledgement is especially effective when you are trying to achieve new goals. For example, let's say you're a young filmmaker trying to break into the big time by getting a major production company to back you. Using the acknowledging technique, you could look for areas that make you feel confident in your capabilities as a filmmaker. You might focus your thoughts on some of the short films you've made in the past and are proud of. You might recall certain scenes that the critics said either worked well or showed real promise. Focus on these scenes and remind yourself that you also have a good eye for detail. Acknowledge all the hard work you've put into learning your craft. Recall all the compliments and praise people have given you about your work, and recognize all the skills you've developed over the last few years and the progress you've made. It does go on a little bit more. He does advise to search for things to acknowledge. He says don't just look at things that are obvious, but actually search, like go in deep and go this and this and this, and make this full-on list as to why you are successful, and acknowledge your successes. So he goes on a bit about that, sort of writing lists about it. Yeah, and talks about using that energy to fuel you and to fuel you into your further successes. So, you know, if you are starting on a new goal, say it's money related, start looking back on when you have achieved succeeding money manifestations in the past. You know, I remember, for instance, I was, you know, when I was doing my art, and I was like, that's how I'm going to make my money. And I've, you know, changed since then because of the nature of what it involves, even though it was quite enjoyable in a lot of aspects. I just decided that I wanted to sell my artwork for really high prices. And I was really bold about this and a little bit crazy. That's okay though, because that pushed me and it helped me grow. And I remember I got, actually, it was an entrepreneur friend of mine, very, very grateful, who purchased 2 of my artworks, and he bought them for a total of about, you know, $3,000. And at the time, that was huge for me. That was such a big hunk of money that came in. And I'd actually been manifesting that I make $3,000 in a day. I was like, if I can make it in one day, I can make it every day. So that's what I decided, which is a good attitude. I kind of like that. Though I had focused on it for so long, and I think I'd let it go a little bit. I think I'd just forgotten about that manifestation. Though it was funny, it was like a double success, because not only did I sold 2 artworks for 1.5 each, and made $3,000 in a day, which was it really supported me at the time. Obviously the artwork went to a really awesome person as well in my life, so I was really grateful for that. And just, yeah, it was just so like, and it just dawned on me, I'm like I sold my art for that much, you know. And it's funny because then after that I had so much confidence. I was like, fuck yeah, I can do this. The next artwork I sold was again for 1.5, and it was less than a month later. And that had been me doing that for maybe a year or half a year of trying to, you know, sell my art for that much, trying to believe in myself and be like, yeah, I can fucking sell it for this much. And it was a mental challenge, absolutely, because I had a lot of old conditioning, you know, other people telling me, you know, that that's not possible, and I should be grateful that I'm selling, you know, things at $25, and which is fine. And yeah, I appreciate all that as well, though I was like, well, I want to earn more, and, you know, I'm allowed to strive for that. And it was a bit of a thing. So I look back on those other money successes that I got, and yeah, they came in quickly. I did another one for my tarot readings that I set without even meaning to a few months before, and then I hit it. It was like I just wanted to make $600 in a week from my tarot. I said, if I can do that, I can make it, I can survive from it. And all of a sudden, like I was just chilling. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to figure this all out. And 2 months later, like, I don't know, I did this stream of consciousness thing. That's why I like it. I was just streaming what I wanted and how I wanted it to be, and how I wanted to inspire people. And I'm going to work with all these people all over the world, and it's going to be great. We're going to inspire everyone. It's going to be amazing. And I earn heaps of money and blah, 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 blah. And then that week, I just had this influx of clients. And out of the blue, it was so out of the blue. Like it was just, I'm like, how did you find me? I thought it was from one of my ads, and it wasn't. It was, they just found me. And anyway, I actually ended up joining in some manifestation groups from that, and I still have some really good friends. Some of them are those clients that I got. So yeah, it was amazing. It all unfolded from that stream. It was really easy, actually, that one stream. I'll do that again. I'll practice that again, because it worked really effectively. So I can look back on those successes and go, well, hold on, of course I can manifest. Look at all that I did. That was amazing, right? You know, there's other money ones as well that I manifested. Anyway, there's a few. I'll leave those ones out for now, just because I'll talk about them another time. They're good though. Though, yeah, so there's just always those successes. And then if you want to look at your SP situation, your specific person, if you're manifesting a specific person, or you know, you want a specific type of relationship, you can go back and look at your successes with relationships. So, you know, you go back and you look at, well, you know, I'm good at getting, maybe you're good at getting girlfriends or good at getting boyfriends, and you can look at your history and past successes in that regard. You can look back and go, well, remember that one time I was like, you and I, that's going to be a thing. And it was. Do you remember that? So just things like that, looking back at your ability to create the energy that serves you for what you want, and acknowledge those and go, of course I can do what I'm aiming for now. Like, the reason you're aiming for this is because you want to keep achieving more and more. You want to keep setting your standard higher because you want to see how far you can grow. You know, you want to expand your own horizons and come into a new place within yourself of self-growth and self-worth, acknowledging your own self-worth, acknowledging that you are capable, acknowledging that you're worthy, and you acknowledge that through your successes, you know, and your persistence as well. So yeah, that was something I wanted to talk about, acknowledgement, acknowledging the past things. I sort of was a little bit hazy on the SP situation. You know, though, for instance, I remember, you know, in high school, before I moved schools, it's funny, I won't mention names because it's an interesting topic. Though there was one, I was looking at, because I was going to the same school as my friend. I moved from year 7 to year 8, I moved to a new school, and I actually manifested getting into that school. It's like, I really want to go to this school, my friends go to the school, I want to go to the school. Got in, and I got in with flying colors. I don't even know how, because that test was so like, I don't know, some kind of IQ test, and I did super well on it. Not saying I'm dumb, I'm just, you know, I just don't know how I did as well as I did on that test, because I don't know, but I cared. I wanted to get in. I was like, I'm going to get into the school. Got in. I was looking at one of my friends who went to the school. I was visiting her house, and she had a yearbook open, and I remember looking at the photos, and I saw this one person, and I was just like, I just crushed on them. I was like, that one. Who is that? And they told me who it was. And then I ended up dating that person. I ended up seeing them for a very short amount of time, actually, because I was in such an interesting spot in high school, weren't we all? And yeah, but I did. I manifested that. I manifested, you know, the attraction there. And yeah, it's just amazing to look back on that I was like, yep. And I just was like, that's the one for me. Yes. So just things like that. And also in other situations when I've been older as well, you know, so I don't know, there's just like things to look at in that regard. So what I'm saying is, look back on your past successes in the areas of your life that you are focusing on now, and look at where you once were. You didn't know this was possible, and then you achieved it. And then you wanted something else and you achieved it. So start looking at how you have achieved those things. It might seem really tough when you're starting to manifest these big goals, especially if you've just come into the awareness of what it is and what you're doing consciously, really consciously, which is of your benefit. It's absolutely of your benefit. Though it's like when you get thrown into boot camp, you're like, okay, in order to be fit and a fucking tank, it's going to be this routine for the next 2 years. And it can seem a bit overwhelming, you know. I don't know, that's a really random example. I've never done a boot camp or anything like that. So, but yeah, you're just getting, it's a lot to absorb at first. And you've got to recognize that the reason that you're suddenly striving for this big goal that at times you're like, can I even fucking do this? Is because you're pushing yourself, and you did it with the other ones as well. Maybe not as much, maybe you jumped to certain levels, but yes, you can achieve the goal you want to achieve. Yes, you can get the dream life that you see for yourself in a healthy, happy, whole way. You can, and you will. So just acknowledge the progress that you've made already in your life and your own successes already and how far you've already come. And utilize that for your own benefit. You know, you can do it in multiple areas of your life. So I just wanted to, talk about acknowledging your success as a means of fueling your energy towards your current goals with manifesting. So that's my spiel. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate, being here with you and chatting with you, you. About this topic. Feel free to comment below and chat with me as well about it. Also like, subscribe as well. Check out my Patreon below. And have a wonderful space time wherever you are. I will catch you in your next reading video. Bye.